Good morning here from Palm Springs. Valerie Milano with the Hollywood Times, and I'm so glad to have Susan here with us. And I'm going to have her tell us a little bit about why she's here, gonna be here for Desert Legends.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm so excited for another year of Desert Legends. Jennifer Corday, our local lesbian rock star. I'm so honored that she invited me to be a part of this by doing a Sapphic poetry workshop. This year is going to be a little different. We're going to make it a little more interactive, but I'm so excited about the weekend coming up.
Love it. And we're going to be very glad to have you, Susan. We'll see you out here very, very
See
soon.
you soon, Valerie.
Okay, yay. All right. Hi, I'm Valerie Milano with the Hollywood Times and Desert Legends. Today, I'm joined by author, poet, and teacher Dr. Susan Detlefsen, who will be leading a beautiful and inspiring Sapphic poetry workshop and reading. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, Valerie. Yes, I hope that people will come, be inspired, inspire us, inspire each other. I believe that inside each one of us, there's an inner poet just wanting to be unleashed. And to that end, I'm going to bring my poetry jar. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to come to the workshop to find out.
I love it.
We'll
Love
start
it.
out by reading some poems to you. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote last December in Buenos Aires. I was there for the International Queer Tango Festival. And I had the opportunity to dance with the founder of the International Queer Tango Movement, an incredible woman. And I had this amazing tango experience that inspired this poem that came to me like 3 in the morning. Came to me in Spanish and English. And Spanish isn't even one of my languages. So I'll read that in Spanish and in English. I'll talk a little bit about the festival. I might read some Sappho. She's the great, great, great grandmother of us all. After all, her Ode to Aphrodite. I might read some Renee Vivien, who was a British poet who wrote exclusively in French after she moved to Paris to live her true Sapphic life. She's incredible. She's considered the best lesbian poet since Sappho. I'll be joined by Kathy Sisson, another local poet. Kathy published this book of poems last year. Oh, can you see it? A Thousand Small Steps. And I'll tell you, I read every single one of those poems last summer. I was having a difficult time with something, and every morning I got up and read one of these poems. So Kathy will read to us. We'll be joined also by Susan Rukeyser from Joshua Tree. You may already know Susan Rukeyser. She is a queer feminist, agent provocateur. She's just published a new novel, which I haven't read yet, and I'm really excited to hear her read from Bad Words. Now, I did read her book, The Worst Kind of Girl. Rukeyser is really fun to listen to. The fourth reader is Eleanor Whitney. Now, I don't know Eleanor as well, but she's very funny. I have heard her read. I don't know what she's going to read for us. So we'll talk about what inspires us. We'll answer questions. We'll invite all of you to share a poem. If you have a favorite poet, especially a lesbian poet, that would be wonderful. Maybe some Mary Oliver. Love Mary Oliver. Adrienne Rich. Kathy might read an Andrea Gibson poem if there's time, because we want to make sure everyone has a time, Valerie, to participate. So it's not just us reading, but we do have plenty of material. We could fill up the whole hour easily. But
So,
if you have a journal, bring your journal. I'll have limited supplies for those who don't uh, have a journal or anything to write on or to write with.
love it. So, for those who may be new to your work, how would you describe your journey as a poet and teacher?
Well, my background is in French literature and poetry, so I taught contemporary feminist literature and poetry. And then after I left my academic career, and I found that I had time to do what I had always wanted to do. I took up golf, I took up watercolor painting, and I started writing. I think the most important thing to be able to write is to have the time. And so I wrote this. This is my latest publication from the Vulva Lounge, and it's very graphic, lesbian erotica, and also some short stories. One of my, I think my most popular story is Blue Poir Tango Bar and Sapphic Theme Hotel. It's set here in the desert at the old B Bar H Ranch. It's this woman who comes from Portland and she sees this old ranch and she turns it into a lesbian theme hotel. And people like Katie Lang and Jodie Foster are involved in the hotel. Uh, Free tango lessons for everyone. So these women all learn to dance tango, to lead and to follow. This is the beautiful thing about queer tango. I'm leading, she's leading, and then you don't know who's leading. You're just in this magical floating space. I can't say enough about tango. The other book that I published is a more mainstream poetry collection. These are stories of my childhood, family issues, inspiration that I found here in the desert. I wrote a poem about my olive trees, inspired by Mary Oliver. So
Yeah.
I have a background in literature, but it's not important. The important thing is to have permission to write and to have the time and just to practice. So, again, I'm going to bring my poetry jar and some visual prompts. Now, these can be very powerful stimulations for stream of consciousness writing. Are you familiar with the Rorschach test? So you're given it, but we're not there to analyze anyone. We're just there to inspire the unleashing of words spontaneously that could lead to a poem. So anyway, we're going to have fun. We're going to play, do some poetry prompts, hear from people. We'll read to you. We'll answer questions. And so excited about being part of Desert Legends this year.
That is so great. We're so excited. How important is it to create space for the LGBTQ plus voices in poetry and storytelling?
Oh, that's such a great question. Well, it's where we can express who we are. I mean, there's so much literature out there, but not enough uh, LGBTQ literature. So, we have a few really great writers here in the desert, and I'd like to, promote them and hear more from them. But also, I know there's so many people out there who have their own stories and their own poems. So it's such an important way to connect with each other. In addition to, of course, the way Jennifer connects with us is through her music. And that's incredible too. I'm so excited about the concerts. But Jennifer wanted this additional component that would be, because not all of us want to go out and play golf and pickleball. For the women who are a little more, maybe a little introverted, maybe they want to come and hear some poetry.
Yeah, and so on that note, for someone who hasn't written poetry before, who feels intimidated, what's the best way to begin?
Well, that's the whole point of the workshop is, doing some exercises and again talking about. I'll talk about specific objects, for example, that I found that inspired me. So I'll talk about the process of, just looking. A lot of writing is just it's like painting too. It's looking and then feeling and expressing the reaction. What's your reaction to this? So again, my poetry jar. This will give you some prompts, and I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but it really does work. This is how I started writing poetry was from the poetry prompts. So yeah, come and try it.
Love
Do
it.
some
I love
prompts
it.
with us.
So desertlegends.net, get your ticket, sign up Friday, April 3rd from 10 a.m. to 11 at the Hotel Zoso. We're going to be with Susan and we're going to learn a lot more from her colleagues about this writing and this workshop. And we're so happy that you're going to be involved. And we look so forward to it. So, for the people that are watching and reading this article, tell us, how can they find out more about you and to look for more of your work? A website, social media? How can they find out more about you?
Well, I do have some things on Facebook, but I don't currently have a website. I'm going to bring all of my books to the workshop. Kathy will bring her book. Susan Rukeyser is very focused on her publicity. So she's got a website. I think it's susanrukeyser.net. But Susan will be there with all her swag and her books. We'll have everything on a display table. That's really the best way to get to know us is just to come to the workshop.
That's right. That's right. And we'll be there. We're the Hollywood Times dot today, and the Hollywood Times Official is our YouTube channel. Can't wait to meet you and learn a lot more about writing. Yes.
Great. See you there, Valerie.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, Susan.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.